Oh my god, they have dolphins on their fucking ship. They have dolphins on their ship.
Captain's Pod, stardate 4210822.4.
I still don't get it.
I got a hiccup.
Oh. Look, wait. Did you stop because I was talking? Nope, the captain has hiccups.
No. Captain, would you like that included in the log? No, don't put my hiccup in the log. It makes me sound drunk again.
I think we should keep it. It makes sense for the context as to why Ambassador Deneé has once again taken over the show.
No, she has
welcome.
not. No, not this time.
It's the second time. And this time, we're doing the thing where we're going to watch the last one.
This time you have to describe 18 episodes.
The thing I'm
going to do in the opening is like quickly get you up to date in what you've missed between the start of season 1 and the end of season 2.
Well, when are your hiccups going to be over then? God.
I think they're done. I'll have a yawn. Look, it has been a day. I have been in the sun doing yard work all day. It's insane. Welcome aboard the Starship's Enterprise, and thank you for joining us as we take a brief short leave from the world of CinemaSins to explore the universe of Star Trek. I am your captain, Ian Whittington, and with me as always, she puts the mom in a non-marmalade to make use.
Oh, it's a stretch. That's a stretch.
Such a stretch.
What a reach this week, Captain.
Such a reach. I'm so tired. How are you?
Nervous about today's adventure, because tired captains mean we might be running into some trouble today.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to be fighting the Borg when my crew are fighting their own fatigue. I did that in Picard's accent, but that's actually Riker's line in The Best of Both Worlds. But
glad you explained both of those things.
Well, somebody would have come at me and said, look, that wasn't what Picard said. Riker said that to Shelby in engineering when they're discussing tactics. I was like, yeah, I fucking know that, dickhead.
Okay, listen. You haven't heard the outtakes yet, so let's just give a little heads up. Ian is in a bit of a mood.
Ian got sassy. Before I sass anyone else, this week we're going to do the season finale of the season finale of season 2 of Lower Decks, so that the Ambassador is almost kind of caught up on Lower Decks before we start doing the actual show next week.
So I almost actually decided to watch every single show and surprise you.
That would have been incredible.
But then I decided that during last week's show, there was this certain part of me that was excited to almost have no context and just watch the last one.
Yeah,
so here's my question
kind of
to you.
Yeah.
While you do the recap, I think I should take my headphones off, because that way I have no clue what's going to be happening in the finale of the second season.
Yeah, I'm only doing the recap for you. The people that are listening probably don't care. Well, they might do. They probably haven't. They may not have seen Lower Decks. I forgot we were recording a show for other people. It's not just... Hey, guys. Thanks for listening.
Let's go for it.
Amazing. No, if you want no context, then we'll go in.
No, what if people want to know? What if they want the recap? That sounds like fun.
Take your headphones off then. No? Okay, the Ambassador is gone. Now, what I was going to do was kind of go through each episode and see if I can remember what happens. So, episode 2 is Envoys. No, can't remember what happens there. Episode 3, Temporal Edict. No, can't remember that one either. Long story short, Mariner has continued arguments with her mother, but ends up coming round and they kind of get along a lot better now. There's kind of a thing between Tendi and Rutherford, or will they, won't they? Boimler, at the end of season 1, spoiler, actually goes aboard the Titan with Captain Riker. So he changes ships, but then comes back, I think sometime in season 2, roughly. And then, that's about it. There's a lot of tension between the crew and Boimler for Boimler leaving. And I think that's the summary. Right, let's see if I can grab Deneé's attention. Deneé! It's really good that we didn't do the thing I was going to do, because I cocked it up. I was going to try and remember what happened in each episode title. I couldn't remember any of the episodes at all.
I'm sorry. So let's just recap. For the last few minutes, you've been looking at the episode titles, trying to just remember from your brilliant mind that's exhausted today from all the yard work?
Yes. Wow. So instead, I did really broad strokes of what I remember overall with no specifics.
Okay.
With that, let's head to 10 forward for season 2, episode 10, which is First Contact. 2 to beam to the Cerritos. Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab a drink from the replicator and share our immediate thoughts and feelings on the episode we just watched together. Most important question first. What would you like from the replicator?
Just any kind of water.
Good, just plain water. You don't want to... Because I saw like this cool water that had like electrolytes in it and shit.
Bullshit.
Do you not want some extra...
No, I'm not that kind of
extra
person.
shit in your water? No? Okay, good. I'm glad we're on the same page. Good. Good to know. So, I would like a season finale that wasn't stolen from Strange New Worlds, please, if that's okay.
What do you mean? You're talking about the cliffhanger. The cliffhanger.
The cliffhanger itself. Yeah,
But
not the finale,
so
but
normal.
the cliffhanger.
Cliffhangers are so normal.
The main character getting arrested?
Well, okay, so in this case, it's the captain. In the other case, it's the first officer.
Potato.
Okay, yeah. Right.
Okay, so in this episode, we join the USS Cerritos as it is assigned to support the USS Archimedes to go on a first contact mission, and then they go into space and stuff, and suddenly a moon explodes, and that creates a debris field which attracts energy and stuff, so the Cerritos has to turn off all of the things, and then go and rescue the Excelsior before it crashes into the Excelsior? The Archimedes, before it explodes into a fiery ball of starship parts on an alien planet.
Or do you want to see Steampunk Starship? Well, do I have a naked Chorito Burrito episode for you?
It is so naked. It's so naughty. This episode is all of the horny.
No, it's not. Okay, those dolphins are very horny. No, you're right.
Hey, Rutherford, get in here.
Yeah, that was pretty
so
funny.
Good. So, Deneé, I'm dying to know, like, in the missing 18 episodes that you haven't seen, how strange was it watching this season finale? And what did you have any questions? Did you enjoy it? What were your initial thoughts and feelings?
I think okay. I think overall I enjoyed it. It's very interesting to watch a finale of the second season when clearly there's some storylines I obviously don't know and I've missed, and that's okay, and that was a choice that I made. But
a time-based choice, like we really couldn't squeeze it all in.
Yeah, for real. I tend to think that finales are when the writers decide to be more obvious about some things, and so I don't know if it's just because it's the finale that the relationship that came to the forefront was definitely the mother-daughter relationship. And so clearly it's like, we're finally coming back together and we're splitting you up again. And then they have that same vibe with Green and Robot, those two characters.
Tendi and Rutherford.
Because, he mentions having had to like delete her or something, malfunctioned at some level. And so I thought that was a clever way of going about like the romance, the will they, won't they, and then they did, but then they don't remember it because of amnesia, which is so soap opera.
It's a little bit more complicated than that in this case, but yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, but it's a great way to tell that story again and to maybe not have to be committal about there being like a long-lasting relationship or something. So that was interesting.
Yeah, there's always that pressure.
Yeah. And then, there's just these new characters I hadn't seen before. What's her?
Who? What does she do?
She's the main character.
Mariner.
I almost said shepherd.
Yeah. She kind of is. She's a reluctant shepherd. Yeah.
Mariner has potentially new love interest / annoying person because they were kind of not getting along, which tells me that the sort of annoyed with partner person maybe shifted away from the guy that you really enjoy. Blah, blah,
yes. Yeah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And maybe Blur's big thing has been, trusting himself to do big adventurous leaps of faith, and he did just that, in this episode and died. So that was interesting, or nearly, I should say.
Survived, died-ish.
But yeah, I think that, I don't know, as somebody who knows all these characters and saw so much context in between, was this a good hitting episode for you, or did it feel like a little bit more of a putting bows on relationships and storylines and then like creating some tension for the next season?
Yeah, this one hit me a bit weird because the season finale of season 1 was freaking incredible and they were never, ever, ever going to top it. So it kind of links into the end of this episode as well. So the Pakleds return, and they're a species that we've seen in The Next Generation. And they basically steal technology from other species and then cannibalize it into their own ships. But they're really like linguistically dumb, really, really basic, but they manage to scavenge things and put stuff together. So they do this, the Cerritos catches them, they get into trouble. At the, like, near the end of the episode, Riker turns up, Captain Riker, on the USS Titan, on his own ship, animated Riker, saves the day, and it's incredible. It's so good. And it hit me so hard because I read all of there's a series of Star Trek Titan books which take place after the last TNG movie, and it follows Riker and his new crew. And to then see the ship turn up, which was designed by a fan on screen, was incredible. It was such a great finale. It was so awesome. And at the end of that, Boimler is recruited to the Titan. So he actually leaves the Cerritos and doesn't come back until partway through season 2. So that was like a huge season finale. And in this one, I couldn't help but expect a big thing as well. So,
I'm sorry. The dismantling of a starship wasn't enough for you? The sheer pornography that we experienced of watching someone disassemble a ship while in space, that wasn't enough for you?
Which is awesome. As a regular episode, it's great.
There are porpoises,
but as a finale,
sir.
I was expecting more.
There are porpoises.
Now, it did bring back Selena Gomez. Damn it. It did bring back Sonia Gomez, who is a character that we only saw in one episode, but she's kind of like a fan favorite. So she appears in TNG, the first episode where they meet the Borg, and she spills a cup of hot chocolate on Captain Picard. So when she's consoling the ensign that fell down and said, I've done much more embarrassing things in front of much more intimidating captains.
Oh, that's clever.
That's what she's referring to.
That's clever.
And it's the same actor, obviously same voice. Mm-hmm. So it's awesome to see her come back.
That's fun.
The brand new Excelsior design is
so
incredible.
Pretty.
Such a pretty ship. So there was enough for me, but man, I kind of wanted Riker back.
Can we please just see the old people that this show is not at all about, but we still want to have like those moments.
That isn't afraid to reference. Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. And then cliffhangers, I'm not a big fan of cliffhangers in general, especially ones where they're like, oh, they got arrested, whatever, they're going to go to jail. I know she's not going to jail. I know that's not going to happen. Watch my words, now she's in jail for 5 years or something, and I completely have to backpedal. But yeah, I enjoyed it, but it did hit me a bit odd for a finale.
One of the big things that kind of hooked me in, besides like the romantic interactions or like even sometimes the emotional family ties, that doesn't usually hook me into a show. It's oftentimes more like witty writing or humor or just unexpected twists, because my brain does make leaps in logic. And then if I watch something that it hits every note for me and I expected it, there's just a part of me that just shuts off, and I'm like, wait, why am I watching this at all?
Why am I doing this? I could write this show.
But if that happens enough times in a row, then I can appreciate it for what it is, but it might not hook me in for very long. And in this one, the one thing that hooked me in was very clearly when Rutherford's he deletes his files and then comes back to that memory we get to watch. That is very, very interesting. That is the most interested I became. Well, except for when the porpoises appeared, I had a lot of questions.
I have answers as well.
So I really enjoyed that scene not because of the horniness, but because there was this moment when they're like, well, why don't you swim down and get it? And they like clearly they're like, it was not made for us. They're like, okay, we stepped in some shit here because the panels were not designed for flippers and this is a big deal. That cracked me up, because that has to be like, why do they have them contained in this very long tube where they don't have anything that they can genuinely interact with because of their flippers? That just seems like a very bad idea.
So here we go. Here's a cetacean ops lesson. So this all started back in Star Trek: The Next Generation with a camera passing by a door. So we get lots of shots of like different decks, and one of these doors said cetacean ops and nothing else. And we didn't know anything about cetacean ops until Lower Decks gave us an inside view. So people just guessed, and they were like, well, I guess they have whales on board, because cetacean means like of the whales and dolphins and stuff. So maybe they just do things like, what are they good at? Well, they're really, really good at like sonar and navigating. So maybe they help with navigation. And that's where it came from. So like these guys are just really great at navigating star charts and having a sense for like how to get through the galaxy. And that's cetacean ops. The original rumor was just like, well, I guess when they went to rescue the whales, that they kept the whales and promoted them and put them on a ship.
Oh my God.
So this all came from like Kirk rescuing the whales is what the rumor is. And then that devolved into cetacean ops. And God bless Lower Decks for giving us finally cetacean ops. It's so great.
I didn't understand why Boimler said something about breathing in or drinking whale piss, because it was like, those weren't whales, but now I get it. It's kind of like
because it's not just dolphins, there are whales in there as well.
There are not. It is so small.
Yeah, there's probably not. But
it was like a test tube. It was way too small.
I do love how horny they are, though. It's like, hey, Rutherford, looking good. Get in here, man. Get naked.
I literally, and I don't know if you want to pull my audio when I reacted to dolphins, because I was actually recording it, but I was like, what the fuck are dolphins doing on the ship?
And they're in little uniforms. They're in the little Lower Decks uniforms. They're so great. Oh, I love it. No, that Rutherford moment as well was the big bit that caught me, because I am a sucker for a conspiracy and like something that we have an explanation for, but now we don't. And he's just like, hey, I think I remembered something I wasn't supposed to. Let's address that later. That really got me. But yeah, the thing with Rutherford's memory, from what I remember vaguely, he was getting really, really close to Tendi, and I think they actually went on a date eventually. But then some kind of surge meant that he had to choose between dying and resetting his memory. So there has been a theme in season 2 of relearning who Rutherford is and him reestablishing relationships, which is super fun. But he's one of my favorite characters. He is so interesting.
There were other things that I saw happen that I was really excited to see. There's this moment. So the captain is going to be getting a promotion and getting a new ship, and she hasn't told anybody yet. And she's informed that she's going to have to kind of pick and choose from her crew. And it just seems like it's just like you would imagine, it's a business thing. It's a business decision. It's not a family kind of feel.
Totally.
By the end of the episode, it is more of a family feel. And they're like, nope, we're in it together. We've just done something together as an entire ship. So like, and that was kind of a cool story arc within that. But there was this scene where all of the first officers are called into the captain's the captain's room.
Yeah, the captain. It was either her ready room or the observation
I couldn't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
I think it was the ready room, just right off the bridge.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of like reacting to this news. And is it Mr. Phillips? I don't remember all the people's names. I wrote down Mr. Phillips.
Billups. So everyone has like really strange names. It's so great.
He goes on like this rant. He's like, "That's fucking bullshit. We're just as good as anyone else." You know, like all this stuff. And I was just like,
"This is fucking nonsense." Like what?
Yeah,
so great.
It's really.
What's awesome is that Billups, like, I don't think we saw him in episode 1, but he is the chief engine. No, we did see him briefly. He's the chief engineer, but he's really mild mannered and he's like really polite and really like kind of subdued. So that is an even funnier scene. Yeah, he's like pondering and looking out into the stars and he goes, "No, this isn't bullshit."
That was really fun. But it shows me like that's what it would be like behind the closed doors of something pretty major happening, you know, somebody kind of losing their shit. And another thing I kind of liked was when not Shepard, but Mariner.
Nice. Good save.
When Mariner kind of realizes that she's overreacting, she's not trusting her crew, she's being emotional at a really bad time when they don't have time to deal with her drama. And she walks off to go back to the bridge and do what she's got to do. And she's like, I'm sorry. Yeah. I have actually done that in my friend groups. Like, okay, I'm sorry. Sorry. Yeah, that was on me. Sorry.
You are super relating to Mariner, aren't you?
Oh, right. Yeah, for sure. She's intense. She's straightforward. It doesn't come off well.
She doesn't have a lot of patience for people's bullshit, which is fair.
It depends on the day. You have to know me well to know when you're pushing it. Sometimes you just don't know and it pops out and I'm like, you know what, it's fine, we're moving on, and you just have to trust what I say, because I am clipping at a pace, my friends. I clip
never
at
say
a pace.
Are you sure to Deneé, because she's already moved on. So Mariner does have a really interesting arc as well. She does go backwards and forwards between like trying to identify why she fights against being promoted and fights against command, and her relationship with her mother does improve, and they get really, really close, especially in the episode before this. They have a big breakthrough. So but yeah, you managed to pick up on that pretty much straight away. Like, you had your prediction straight away was, oh, I guess they got really, really close then, because now she's sad that she's leaving.
Yeah, and there's just ways that you can kind of see where the writers are wanting you to go. What I love to see is it's not just the writers; it's actually the animation too, and the voice acting. It all has to kind of come together. And there's sometimes when like one element will play its hand a little bit strong, and you'll make an assumption. And I made some that were not right. There was one prediction I had, which was that the reason that Greenie was not in the log anymore was something to do with robots glitch.
Oh,
and so that
I
didn't
thought
play
the same
out.
thing. The first time I watched the episode, I thought the same thing, and I actually thought that he could see the reason that she'd been deleted, but it was covered up by the error.
Oh,
thing.
that would have been interesting,
So
wouldn't it?
he knows why she's been deleted, but can't see the whole picture.
Yep. I do have some questions for you, and then I probably will find some other notes before we go on to our sins.
Go for it.
Okay, so here's a question. At one point, Rutherford says, "That's an okie dokie for me." And my question is, did he say that a lot? Because that seemed like it was suddenly a thing.
No, it's like he is super duper positive. Okie dokie, let's go. That's exactly how he talks. Yeah, so I can't remember if it's necessarily like a tagline or like a catchphrase, but that's how he reacts to most situations. Like, okie dokie, this sounds impossible, let's do it.
Oh, okay.
He's
so that
very
was
much got like a Geordie LaForge energy.
Okay. I love Geordie.
Geordie's the best. He's so good.
There was also a moment when someone said something about a rubber ducky room. And
I can't help you on that one.
Is this just like, at some point in time, it's going to be the same thing as the salation room or whatever, where
cetacean, yeah,
whatever. Those are very different words. Sorry.
Salacious ops. Pretty much. That's what it was.
Someone's gonna be like, well, it was a ducky room. Rubber ducky room was mentioned in Lower Deck, so we're gonna have that finally answered here.
40 years from now, there's another animated show that finally goes into the rubber ducky room. That's amazing. That's where people get high. There's like rubber ducky hookahs.
I have to say, okay, so something I really loved, the way that the ship looked when it was like steampunk naked was so badass.
Freaking cool. I want that model.
It was so cool. Like, it was all copper and neon.
Yeah.
And when it stops the other ship from descending further into the atmosphere of the planet, like the visual of the beam that's around them and just everything sort of suspended there was so pretty. Oh, it's so pretty.
This show is so pretty. The explosion of like the solar flare into the explosion of the little planetoid thing, and then the Archimedes getting caught in that like energy wave. It's so pretty.
So
this
cool.
show is so well animated. It's
truly
so pretty.
When that ship was, getting hit by everything and kind of slowly turning off, I was like, oh my God, they could go for a really emotional moment here and show the ship just blowing up from the inside right now, because it was really taking you into that moment in a way that only like an animation or a CGI can bring to life.
Yeah.
Whereas, in movies or in television with the real life acting, there's certain details that are just going to stand out like a sore thumb. They're going to have to do like a wall being broken into and debris flying around, but you don't get this sort of really intense inward look at a ship being completely dismantled, which was terrifying. That was really scary. I was like, oh my God, this is dark.
Yeah, especially like this is the only person we know is Captain Gomez. So it could have been a way to kill her off and be like an emotional punch. It could have happened.
Yeah. And a way to kind of drive home something, bigger of the storyline. I wouldn't have thought twice about that being a potential thing. But yeah, just the whole thing. Like, so once the disaster happens and then our guys are coming to the rescue and they're dismantling the ship piece by piece, there's this shot too of like NCC 755 or whatever it is. That was kind of floating off into space. That was just a really cool shot.
Awesome glory shots. And it's one of my favorite things about it is after 50 years of Star Trek, 55 years, how do you come up with like an original solution to a problem? Because they've done we need to get through this asteroid. We need to rescue the thing that's going to crash into a planet. How do you put like an original obstacle in the way and an original way to get through it? stripping the ship of its exterior hull has never been done.
Yeah.
And it probably can't be done in a live action show very easily.
No.
Because you'd have had to rebuild the model, or you'd have to CGI it. It just wouldn't look right.
No. And
animation is the perfect way to do it.
It's the perfect medium because it's all happening in the same medium and you don't have to cross them over.
It's just, hey, what would this look like in theory? And it's just so fun. It just looks, that's steampunk. All of the pipes are exposed. All of the circuits are visible. Yeah, I love that so much. It's a great, great moment.
And then this show also just kind of also flexing that it still shows its humor as well. Because when they're trying to problem solve, the one guy's like, what if we warped? And everyone just jumps down his throat.
I love that so much because that's the only reason, because they do the standard problem solving of why can't we do that? Well, it would blow up the ship. Why can't we do that? Well, the plasma relays won't allow it. But why can't they warp around it? The one question that they don't have a good answer for is the one the writers chose to go, blah, 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 you can't do that. It's ridiculous.
And that's purposeful. That's
100% purposeful.
And
but
that's the
so
humor kind of still showing up. And in this episode, I think because it's a finale, it didn't have as much humor for me, except for...
It went for way more emotion.
Again, it's super funny to suddenly have, all of a sudden porpoise. That was really... And that's not something that most people will ever experience because they're not just watching... The second episode ever is this one. So that was an unexpected humor moment that maybe people, when they saw it for the first time, they thought it was funny too. I'm sure it was a really great introduction.
He's not breathing. His blowhole is broken.
Oh my God, that was so funny.
Killed me. So good.
And then I think the next time they were like, quick, don't let him get too dry or something because that would be bad for them. That would be
what would happen to them.
It's
so great using their dolphin logic.
Super didn't expect that. Of all the things that I would never have expected to be on the ship.
Something in this episode.
I guess Rubber Ducky Room and porpoises are super good candidates. Oh, also this episode, an unexpected thing was a joystick popping out of an armrest. I was like, oh.
It's so great. So that's a nod to Star Trek Insurrection, which is the third TNG movie. And it's played seriously on screen, but it is such a super eye-rolly moment. Riker is in command of the Enterprise, and the engines are down. Everything is going, I'm going to have to go to manual. So he says, diver helm control to me. And in the captain's chair, that is exactly what happens. A PC flight simulator joystick comes up from the captain's chair, and that is how he's piloting the Enterprise through a nebula. And he'll push forward, and the nose will dip, and he'll go left. And
it's so great! It's like a video game, man.
It's so cool, but there's no fucking way that's how you're maneuvering this ship.
It could be. You know what? It could be. It could be.
Not a chance. But it's still so cool. So it's the perfect thing for Lower Decks to do, because you'll probably never see it live action again because it's so eye-rolly. But
I guess
perfect for Lower Decks.
Another thing that we love to see is when fleets show up, and this episode also had a fleet show up moment that was kind of fun to see the other ships sort of on screen.
There's the Nova class. It's my favorite ship. I got it here.
He's grabbing his ship.
This is the ship. This is the one that was on
that's
screen.
It.
There it is.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
You actually have the ship.
I actually have one of the ships. So I lost it when I saw that. I was like, it's a Nova class. Yes.
That's amazing.
One of my favorite ships. It's so great.
Yeah, that was fun. Some other things another thing that I thought was funny was the when Greenie is welcomed into the officer level, she's going to be going up as officer. She mentions someone, and the cat responds with, "Who the fuck is that? I don't know who that is. I meant
it's
Spock."
So great.
And then they
a science officer like Dax. No, who the fuck is Dax? I mean Spock.
It was so funny. And then they hug and the cat purrs, and it was just
so great.
So great.
That happens a few times throughout the series where something will happen and she'll get neck scritches and she goes and purrs and immediately diffuses the Doctor. She's great. So good.
Yeah, I mean, my only prediction would be there was a couple of lines that make me feel that this next sort of arc will potentially be Boromir's Boimler's. God, what a name. Would be Boimler's probably ascension into towards captain, leading towards captain. Because there's a couple things that was said, and that was that about ego. The thing that the mom says kind of in the daughter's direction at one point was that the captain that they had on the Archimedes ship.
Gomez.
that she still allowed her to go forward with the mission, and that shows that she lacks ego. Like there's no ego on that one. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the ego of Shepherd Mariner is going to be maybe that thing that she struggles with pretty hard, is like a self-awareness that if she wanted to actually have control, she would need to fight her ego a little bit. Whereas Boromir, he's probably more just naturally without an ego, because that was specifically touched on the nose a couple times. That's the only real prediction that I have.
Because the captain has to have an ego, but it has to delegate command as well. And Beckett Mariner is not good at letting people do things for her. Like with the Dolphins, they had to beat her to say, get out of here, we don't need you, Boimler can do it, you go sort your mum out. And that's a trait you need as a captain, to trust your crew to do the 1,000 jobs that you're not supposed to be doing. Yeah.
I don't have a prediction for who has taken the robot and done this weird thing with robot. Do you have any predictions? So they said, don't worry, he'll assume it's elective. So he had a problem. They said, oh, hey, we'll fix it. So they've been looking for a test subject of some sort. So my guess is that they are this is a wild guess, they're either trying to recreate Data and have more, like, some kind of mix between Data and a human, but that leads me to the Borg. So I'm wondering if, like, Section 31, which is like the dark, undercover, super secret spy branch, like the Tal Shiar, but for the Federation, for Starfleet, if they're trying to create their own Borg drones. And Rutherford is like an example where they can just snap a finger and control him. Take him over.
I think he's going to be taken over, brainwashed, and he'll like take control of the ship and kidnap everyone.
What if the alerts are them trying to take over and him resisting? And so he deletes something, and then they're just slowly gaining control the more he deletes.
So I think he's going to get taken control of and take over the ship or something.
That is so cool.
Gonna be fun. That's my prediction for that.
We'll see.
So yeah, other fun things from the episode. I think we've hit them all. Just visually gorgeous. Love the Excelsior class ship, the revamp. Love seeing Gomez. So really, really, really solid episode. And I'm really glad that you're still enjoying the show and still enjoying like the humor of it. And
yes,
I cannot wait to do all of season 3 with you. Like, if there's anything that pops up that has been referenced that we've missed, as usual, we'll go through it. But no, it's a great ride, and even this still works as a solo episode for a lot of reasons.
100%. I would agree. Having just experienced that, I thought,
heck yeah,
I didn't really feel like I was missing much. That was really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't confused. I mean, I was confused about the porpoises, but we just worked that out, so it's fine.
Everybody, I think 90% of people were confused about the porpoises. Okay, with that, let's head to engineering for ReSInstance's Futile. Battle stations, everyone.
Warning. Warp core collapse in 10 seconds.
This is the part of the show where we re-engage our sim brains, remind ourselves that no TV show is without sin, and some ships are without hulls. What did you have, Ambassador?
I just want to point out he said hulls, not holes.
Hulls. It's a hard word for English people to say.
I saw that they were soldering pieces of the ship together before the hulls were taken off. And I just want to say that should never be in the hands of humans, ever.
Oh, do you mean with phasers?
Just have to seal them up with phasers. Like, she was in the middle of an emotional argument with her mother and just like was welding, and then she's like talking and getting frustrated, and I'm like, did you finish? Because it didn't look like you finished.
Nope.
And this is why humans could not be trusted to just weld up all the holes. That needs to be something that's just like a button controlled by the ship. The ship heats up the stuff so much that it seals things.
Cleans
that
itself.
Should not be people. Sorry.
That's fair.
I was very, very, very concerned about that.
Also, like, phasers just so multi-purpose. Like, do you not have actual soldering irons for that? Like, are you just gonna shoot it to death? Like, what's going on here?
Everybody just shoot at it's just seal everything up.
Yep.
You know what to do, because this is something we cover in Starfleet.
Welding. It's part of the command program.
We're gonna, just in case you have to deconstruct your hull in the middle of space, we're gonna teach you how to weld this door shut.
Well, that was one of my sins, is the captain was like, we need every single crew member, even the bird, who is a therapist, we need you to suit up and start taking the ship apart. No! It's fair. Just like, I don't care if 100 people need heart surgery. I'm not going to be able to help you in that situation. I cannot strip the ship of its hull.
This is when you need to know yourself well and say, I can't do that, but I can get everyone snacks so that when they're hungry...
Exactly. I can charge the phasers.
That's right. I know how to do that.
I got the witty retorts. I can do that.
Yeah,
my biggest sin was why does it take Rutherford so long to get help? Why doesn't he go straight to Billups, go straight to engineering? It's like, hey, I can't see, and this is pretty important. Like, immediately go to engineering.
Is it because that they're deleting parts of his brain that allows him to think anything other than potato level? Because
possibly, but the show doesn't tell us that.
My sin is that he has, quote unquote, the sarcastic kind of quote unquote, by the way, friends who hear him say his thingy doodle is acting up, and they're like, sorry, have to decorate, and also, peace out, I want fajitas. You just heard your friend say, my thing is acting up, can you help me? And no one responds to that at all.
This would be like, imagine you're in a wheelchair and it'd be like saying, no, I can't do you a favor because my wheels are broken, I can't go anywhere. And then them saying, no, I got to decorate, so I got to get some fajitas. Like,
I got some stuff happening. You know, I don't want to do that right now. That's just
crazy.
It's just too much. Yeah, it's just I was so angered by that.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Rutherford should have got help from his friends and colleagues.
From his friends or someone.
Yeah, amazing. Your turn.
We talked about this while we watched it. We lost some of that conversation, so let's have it again now, Captain. There's a moment when we're on our burrito ship.
Yes.
And the captain is mad at her daughter, and then all of a sudden it's red alert. They walk into the bridge, and dude's like, "Oh no, a solar flare!" And then it cuts over to the screen. Solar flare pops off, hits the moon thingy, this dead thingy, breaks it up, and it turns into the debris that they can no longer get through very easily, and it's what destroys the Archimedes ship and causes all the problems. We cut to Archimedes ship, who is hanging out doing nothing and totally caught unaware, and I think that's absolute bullshit. There's no way they didn't have some kind of an alert pop up about the same solar flare that the burrito did from so far away.
Yeah, in that conversation that is lost because Ian's recording decided to not.
It was awful.
It was painful, but it's fine.
We should talk to your computer about that later.
We should. I'm going to have a firm talking to it. It's going to be talking very adamantly with my foot. I was trying to figure out, maybe they were in a blind spot, or the Cerritos could detect it because it was further away. But then scanners, that shouldn't matter. There should just be an automatic... It shouldn't need somebody looking at a screen. It should absolutely be like, beep, 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 solar flare, debris, get out of here. And the ship should move itself. It shouldn't even need somebody to press a button. It should be proximity alert, shields up, move away. All automated.
We live in a time when cars are now moving away from things of danger. So in the future, that would be happening on ships.
Absolutely.
100%.
As biological, fallible beings, would not be allowed to touch the warp core, pilot the ship, do anything with the phases. I think everything would be pretty much automated. You'd need a crew of 4 people at most, and they would all be just super pacifist. No, you're not allowed near the guns. This is something that always bugs me in all of Star Trek. Why do
birds suddenly appear every time you are near?
Especially therapy birds. Why is it whenever they visit a planet that is warp capable, there are never, ever any ships in orbit or nearby that belong to the aliens? And this first contact species, which means they've not... I mean, this could be... this is the first time that they're meeting and they don't have any ships nearby. This could be an invasion force. And there's just no ships in orbit. There's nobody that can help the Archimedes on their side of the planet. This planet is completely defenseless against this ship. And I never get it. Why isn't... If we're sending ships to different planets, we should have our own shit locked the fuck down. We should have satellites up everywhere, just laser beams going off all over the place, defense grids. And it's just hey, come down, have a drink. It's fine. It's crazy.
I'm going to pretend that I followed that and say, yeah, that sounds crazy. I agree with you completely.
My bottom line is, why weren't there any more ships near the Archimedes?
Why? Just
why was it on its own?
Crazy. Well, I'll go with a simple one, which is just littering.
Where? Oh, space of the panels. Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe like
I'm sure they'll collect them.
If we were to do this particular one, maybe like each panel would have its own little ding, 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 ding. And just slowly adding up throughout the episode as it's just space littering.
Would.
Yeah.
Littering. Ding, 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 ding. I would love, like, if in a future episode they get sent into the future or something, and there's this planet that has a god called, like, Cerritos or something, and they find this, like, panel that says USS Cerritos on it, and it's, like, their monument, and it's, like, their Bible, because it just landed on a random planet.
100%.
It's gotta happen. That's so funny. I'm really baffled by this debris field. I don't know much about debris fields, to be honest, but how big is it that they can't fly around it? They have 11 hours.
Oh, it said that it was like permeating the entire atmosphere, and I was like, that was fast.
That
happened so fast.
I don't know much about particle physics, but that happened
really
conveniently quickly for the plot for you to need to do this.
Yeah, we don't ask those questions. It'll all fall apart.
Just accept it. Yeah, no, that would be sinned for sure.
One of them that I would try to sin is this idea that we'll have to quote unquote go old school. So they take the panel with the viewer
so
off,
yeah.
and it's just like a little
open space,
complete just fucking open space. It's like the first cars that their windshields were just not there.
Little bits of glass. Yeah. It could fold down.
Yeah. So when they got back from their drive through the countryside, they were just covered in insects that smacked into their faces, and they realized we need something to protect us. So in this case, it's some sort of force field or something, right? That they can just simply fall out of.
No, there's no force field because they can't have any energy signatures. They can't have any power.
But they also then do not have tethers of any kind. So let's just talk about the choice.
Spacesuits?
But she just falls out of the front. She just falls
she should
out
be
of
magnetized.
the ship.
She should not be able to fall out of the front.
Some kind of a tether, and if there aren't any available, grab a fucking rope. And if there isn't one, replicate that shit before you're just like, hey, it's just me in space.
Have a buddy. Have a buddy that you're tied to.
Yeah.
Buddy up.
Exactly. Something.
It's also some bullshit that Andorian was still on the outside of the ship. I was like, the paneling is done. What are you doing here? Just ready to grab Mariner. That's
that was the romantic cliche that we would definitely ding.
Yeah. Ding. I thought it was odd that, like, obviously it was to cause drama, but Dr. Ta'ana, like, doing the dramatic file delete and she's going to go into sciences. Like, that's not how that would happen. It would be a review conversation with Tendi and being like, hey, if there's this assumption that because you're performing really, really well, you have to be promoted and you have to go and do the next job and you have to go and do something else. What if she's really happy in sickbay? What if she's found her happy place? Like, why are you assuming that she wants to go into the sciences? Or, I mean, if you're going to fast track her, why not fast track her to, like, senior physician or, like, a doctor or something?
They probably have protocol, right? They probably have some kind of protocol.
I don't know, but it just seems like a strange sideways move to say, you're doing so great in sickbay, you should be on the bridge doing sciencey stuff. It was just weird to make that decision for her.
It seemed to me that it was based on how quickly she adapts, and that might be something that they can't teach. So maybe that's why they're sending people that kind of have that ability. Who knows?
It's true, but it also doesn't, like, explain, like, what if she's happy in the medical field? They're like, no, I'm good.
No, they don't. She doesn't get to decide that for herself. Sorry.
Okay, fair enough. I'm sure you'd allow that.
Yeah. I would definitely send the moment that, everything is saved. Now they get to go do their actual first contact or their first contact, depending on which one you're watching.
It's baffling to me that Paramount Plus got the episode title wrong. Really? Come on.
So they beam down for this first conversation and literally just continue to pick up the mother-daughter chat where daughter is all like, hey, Mom, I'm real proud of you. And, this is it. I'm like, you're meeting an alien species. Can you please wait?
Yeah. Get some perspective, people.
And maybe it's because I'm a mom and it was triggering. Like the second that I'm on the phone, Iris is like, Mom, I need this, because she has to have my attention. And so maybe it's like they're playing with that idea that she's just so childlike that she can't figure her shit out.
Nothing else exists other than herself and her mum at that moment. Or the plot needed it to get wrapped up. Two things at once.
Probably that.
That kind of leads into my final sin, which is it's just a bit too much emotion. And it's because like the series has hit on it a lot. There's a lot of Mariner being a pain in the ass and fighting against things. And sometimes it's done hilariously. And sometimes it's a bit too earnest. And in this episode, it was a bit too much for me. It was a bit too much of... I'm glad it had the dynamic of, hey, I'm actually going to miss you. But it was still too much of just be happy for her. This is not how humans actually resolve their problems for the most part. Like, don't, especially when you work for your mum as well. Like, I don't know. It was a bit too much. I get you have to have the emotional stuff, but it's just a bit too much for me. Too many emotions, Deneé. Too many
So
emotions.
in other words, you would write a skip sin?
Skip? Yeah. Skip it.
My last sin is actually an outtake. And this was when Mariner Mom is walking down the hallway, and I would play the shame, shame, shame from Game of Thrones with Cersei Lannister.
Yeah, that's perfect. Oh, no, that was my other sin, was if it's urgent, like this person, so this is completely made up footage. They do deal with the Pack-Leds again, but this is manufactured footage, and the alleged crime is supposed to have happened during the mission that she was just on. So the Starfleet police think that this was a cover for the war crime that Freeman was doing. And I'm just like, if she's committed this massive crime, why are you waiting until after the celebrations are done? Why have you allowed her to do this first contact with these aliens if she's this dangerous? And like, also, why parade her in front of the crew? Like, you'd like, we're gonna want to take you out the back door for this part.
For the shame, shame, shame. Also, why not just beam her out?
Yeah, beam her out.
Let's just avoid there being any trouble or her, like
beam out.
Yeah, just beam out. But then you can't do the shame, shame, shame walk, which was part of the fun.
Of course. And it's all made worthwhile for your outtake.
Yes, that's exactly right. That's it for me.
That's it. Okay, guys. So next week, we're going to be doing back to immediately sinning stuff as it happens, as it airs. So sinning, damn it. It's not actually sinning. Reviewing, immediately reviewing stuff as it appears.
We're reacting to it.
Reacting pods. We are Instapodding Lower Decks as it happens. So in the UK, I think it comes out a couple of days later on Amazon Prime, but we are getting it pretty much the same time as the US, which is such good news. It's awesome. So yeah, join us next week and we'll be doing season 3, episode 1. So yeah, thanks for listening. I am Ian Whittington and my blowhole is broken.
It's interspecies flirtation from me as well. 2 porpoise references.
Salacious cetaceous. Live long and Podsper?
I only signed up for the Podsper part. Just for the record.
Hey, that's a pod.
See you next season.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Want to connect with the show? Our hailing frequencies are always open through captainspod@cinemasins.com. Like, comment, and subscribe on your podcast player of choice, and be sure to visit cinemasins.com.
Right, what was your hilarious headline you found?
Okay, I'm only gonna read what I can read, and you know how headlines are these days. You never see the full title until you actually click on it.
I'm only gonna read what I can read. That is good solid advice for anybody that can read.
What I meant by that, Ian, is that I didn't. God, I didn't click on it to discover what the whole thing is about.
No one does nowadays. It's just headlines and then regurgitate it.
I do. I will read the full headline.
Sugar cubes can cause eyesight loss in iguanas. That's what the headline said.
Sorry, when did your headline stop? Here's where my headline stops. A Missouri pastor has apologized after berating his congregation for being, quote, poor, broke, busted, unquote, and not getting him a luxury ... And I'm like,
birthday present.
Don't click it.
Birthday present.
I'm going to say car. Luxury car, maybe.
Shh, no, that's too specific. Because why would he be expecting a car from his congregation? Why are you expecting anything from your congregation, you absolute waste of a public figure? Dick.
Yeah, that was very well controlled. Good job.
Yeah, it could have been worse.
Can I show you something that I've made?
Please.
This is going to go in Iris's lunchbox tomorrow in her lunchbox.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And I'm about to color it in.
That's going to be so sweet until she says, I was expecting a toy in my lunchbox and all I got was this stupid card.
So after all of that I went through yesterday with explaining to her why she cannot have every toy, which...
Oh, by the way, everyone, that was a card that said I love you on it.
Does anyone think it would be anything else is my question.
Yo, grow the fuck up, kid. School's only going to get worse.
Just the words eat.
Eat it. Eat your fruit, dickhead.
Yes, this is your lunch. Love, Mom. I have this mailbox outside of my door in my house, but it's like a flat mailbox. It's like more for keys and a couple of letters than it is a mailbox.
Did you ever find the thing that I put in there?
What did you put in there?
Oh, never mind.
There's nothing in there. I've cleaned it out multiple times since you've been.
Okay, good.
Did you put something in there? An Iris take it, maybe?
No,
that's
you'd have found
Iris's.
it. It's fine.
I would have found it. Not Iris?
Huh?
Are you being a dick right now? You are, aren't you? You're being a dick.
No.
Did you put something in there?
What?
Ian Whittington, you're about 12 seconds from losing me.
No, entirely?
Entirely. I don't got time for this shit. Did you put something in that mailbox?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. So anyhow, I have this mailbox in the hallway
Yep.
for Iris. And she hadn't checked it for a while, and I asked her if she had looked, and she said no. And she opens it up, and I had cut out this really cool sticker. Do you know who Lisa Frank is?
No.
Okay. So she was this pop artist, or is this pop artist that was popular, I think, in like the 90s. And she's having like a little resurgence. Very bright colors and such.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just cut one out and put it in there for her, and she just found it.
That's so cute. Adorable.
Because she knows I have to work, but I also want to leave fun things for her. So sometimes she'll write me notes and put them in there, and I'll find them.
That's a really good idea. Still some contact with working mama. When you've done some garden work, some yard work, and you need to get rid of all of the trash, where do you take it? And the local swimming pool is not the answer. What do you call it?
There is a place you can take like branches and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like big things.
Or like appliances and stuff, or like huge, like lots of stuff.
Well, there's different places you can take it around here. There's like a brush pile place where they'll take bigger things that are more biodegradable. And then there's junkyards where you can take cars and stuff.
Okay.
But then there's the landfill, which is the big dumping ground. It's the big shithole of the United States.
So what, they let you go there?
So somebody owns that land, usually a garbage company of some kind, maybe the state. I honestly don't know because I'm not one of those people that knows these things 100%. But they literally just like take your garbage bags and they just chuck them on land. And it's just layers and layers and layers and layers of hundreds of years of just trash.
So what, they don't like organize it or try to recycle it? Do you not like have like recycling centers?
Where is this coming from? We haven't got to your original. Like, why are you asking me?
Because I know that, so we have places dedicated for that, and I knew that the name would make you laugh. And I don't know if you had an equivalent in America. So throughout England, there are places that you can, well, and Scotland and Wales, but whatever, that you can take things and you can, they organize it, but they're very, very, very strict. So there's like a big bin that's for grass, there's a big bin that's for metal, big bin that's for wood, big bin that's for like carpets, big bin that's for like appliances.
I'm getting
very,
the
very,
vibe
like,
of a big bin.
separated.
Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah, but we call it a skip or a tip. A skip, a tip, or a tidy tip. We're gonna take it to the tidy tip.
Yeah, you're right.
I knew it would make you laugh.
Tidy tip sounds like some kind of like a character from like a kid's book. If you're going to make a kid's book for kids that are raised in England, it would be Tiny Tip learns how to like separate his garbage.
Yeah, learns how to recycle. Tidy Tippy. Yeah.
Oh my God. I love it.
Or a skip. We're going to the skip to take the rubbish out. Yeah, I just didn't know if you had those places. So where would you go?
Well, we do have recycling centers as well. But I believe for the most part, that is entirely up to the individual if they want to actually recycle or not.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's good to know. I won't do any big projects in America then. Deneé, can we go to New York? To the new Star Trek exhibit,
When?
please? 3 weeks from now.
No.
4 weeks from now.
No.
Anytime this year.
No.
Anytime next year.
No.
Well, you said yes.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
Do you not know what you agreed to?
When did I say yes, I was going to go next year?
No, I said, can we go to New York to the new Star Trek exhibit? And you said yes.
Yeah, I didn't say when.
I watched First Contact for the millionth time last night. And there's, long story short, they end up in the past. And Picard is touching Picard is next to the first ever ship that went faster than light. Was the very first warp ship. And he touches it. And Data's just like, why are you touching it? Why are you being weird? Like, does it change something? And he's just like, yeah, touching it makes it more special and it makes you more connected to it. And I was like, it's me. I touch everything. Like, all of these, like, when we did, like, the tour of the East Coast, like, I just touched everything. I was like, I touched the Washington Monument and I touched the Lincoln chair, but I didn't. But I touched the building.
No, but I thought about it.
I thought about touching him, yeah.
Everybody
I thought
thinks
about
about
touching
it.
Lincoln.
And then they look around, they're like, where is security?
They should be somewhere, shouldn't they?
Oh, there definitely are. And that's the scary part. It was when you know that they're just like seconds from repelling from some secret
goodness.
stealing place.
Lincoln's head just folds off. Everyone jumps out of it. That seems impractical.
I watched The Coolest Thing today with Iris. There's this YouTube channel that I used to watch many, many years ago, and I hadn't gone back in quite some time, but it's this guy who's super passionate about aquarium.
Right.
But really, I guess
Creepy?
self-sustain. No. No? Why would I say what is wrong with you?
I got the wrong vibe. I'm sorry. I misread this conversation.
Yeah, apparently. What kind of what vibe am I giving off? Jeez.
He's just like licking the aquarium glass and stuff.
Okay, for the record, my tongue has never once been out of my mouth to indicate that.
Wait,
would be
what?
the case.
It's never once been out of your mouth
in
ever.
This conversation.
Right.
In this
That's
conversation.
not what I said.
It's not what I said. That's not what I said. I think they're more like interesting all natural ones. I don't remember, but he has super, super high res cameras, clean, perfect pictures. It's amazing. And he's very particular, so he'll put individual plants into the lava rock that he's procured and set up and equalized the water the right way, and it's all like this self-sustaining little volcano rundown system, and then he watches all the algae explode and takes out all the stuff that makes it like not work with daylight very well, and introduced some shrimp that went and ate all the algae in 4 days, and then introduced a couple more different kinds of fish creatures, and he's just watching them, and it's just like you're right up on this microscopic level watching a tiny shrimp crawl up the volcano side to get to the top of where the water is, and you're like, go little guy. Anyway,
Do it. You can do it.
it was the perfect video to watch with a 5-year-old because we're both just fascinated, and it's this person that has to be so patient because he removes he puts the plants in with little like the long tweezers, like just tiny bits at a time. He removed the algae tweezer pinch by tweezer pinch.
Oh my goodness.
So he's very particular. This person is highly intricate. And so it's fascinating to watch someone who removes all of the algae bits with like
Oh my goodness.
a comb that's really, really fine and just pulls all of them out slowly. And
I mean, no wonder he makes a YouTube channel about it, because like you've got to have something as an end result. It's like, if I'm going to do this, people are going to watch me suffer. I'm not doing this alone.
I don't think he's suffering. I think he's really enjoying it.
So this really wound me up. I got a pizza yesterday, and I never should have done because it wound me up. So I got a pizza that comes to the door, and they've got like 3 leaflets on each pizza. Yeah, I ordered 2 pizzas. Yes, I live alone. Stop it, judging me. And each like box has like 3 leaflets on it, and there's a little QR code on one of the leaflets that says, "Our team work really, really, really hard. Please consider tipping them." I was like, hey, if they work so fucking hard, maybe you should pay them. Like, why am I paying your employees? I'm paying you for the pizza, dickhead. This pizza did not cost £30 to cook, make, and get here. It cost like £6, and £4.50 of that was in petrol. You pay them. Why am I doing it, dickhead?
You sound like one of those radio guys that just rants all the time about shit that doesn't matter. But
Yeah, I should get a podcast.
I'm pretty mad right now, man. You okay?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it?
Well, YouTube annoyed me as well. This YouTube. So
Get it all out, man. Get it all out.
I'm a misguided gentleman, so I like to watch fail videos on YouTube because I like to watch people in pain, apparently. And there's this one particular channel that's been around for a while, and just recently they've started putting disclaimers on each clip saying nobody was harmed in this footage, and they're lying to me. People were absolutely harmed in every single video. If not, it wouldn't be a fail video. If there wasn't some sort of harm happening, you wouldn't have 50 billion subscribers, because we all enjoy watching people fall down and get hurt. So don't try and clear your conscience with me, laddie, by putting a disclaimer on each clip saying nobody was harmed. There is a dog with a packet of crisp, like a crisp bag over its head. It walks around and falls off a patio, which is hilarious, but it gets up and walks off, and it says no animals were harmed. Yes, that animal was harmed and embarrassed.
You watch harm videos?
They're just fail videos.
I don't
people
know
falling
you
down.
at all right now. Who are you,
Yeah.
Captain? Oh my God.
People falling down. It's great. Like, nut shots are the best. They're hilarious. They never stop being funny. I unapologetically love the Jackass films. I just do.
Mm-hmm.
They're great. I
Cool.
could do with less vomiting, but the nut shots are great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good for you.
I feel like you're reassessing your role on this show and whether you should be on it anymore.
No, don't wonder about why I'm backing towards the door, you know?
Well, make sure you get it on camera because you might fall down.
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
Today I decided to paint my fingernails, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to do it like I used to, and I had so much time.
Mm-hmm.
So I put on 3 layers of nail polish.
So is there like a primer, a polish, and then a sealant?
Depends on the kind that you use. This is just straight paint.
Okay.
So the first layer was smooth, but I didn't I like to let them dry in real thin layers. So I usually do 3 really thin layers. And by the third layer, it looks something like perfect. Like,
oh, that's pretty. Well, you've done a good job. Yeah, that's nice.
So this is what they all look like until I ran out of time as a person. And then all of them have now dents and dings and chunks missing. And the first time it happened, I was like, it's fine. I'll put a design on it.
Yeah.
You know?
It'll be deliberate.
I'll cover it in glitter or something.
Turn the bug into a feature.
Then the second nail, third, fourth, like they've all but 3 been completely chipped. Yeah.
I'm
so
sorry.
now I just think I'll probably take them off and look like a regular person instead of one that has time to go get luxurious nails done.
Let's go get you your nails done. When I come to town, we will both get our nails done.
No, I've decided not to spend money at those places anymore. They're very expensive for not a lot.
That's fair. No, you are correct.
Captain, I'm so thirsty all of a sudden. It's been so long. I've just been waiting.
Waiting for what? I've been waiting. Last week, I had to wait 15 minutes for you to get here.
Look at all the colors I used.
Yeah, pretty.
Dick! I thought you were trying to make me feel bad earlier because you prepped this whole thing and then you're like, you didn't prep it all for it. You just wrote titles.
No, I was just being a butt. No, I was just messing around.
Jeez, you are like super butt. Look at that super butt, man. Don't pout at me. Nope. I just have no way of knowing when you're like when your butt ramps are ramping up.
Butt ramps. I'm never at a stage where I need butt ramps.
Okay, so the mom is leaving, and that means that most likely there was some story arc of connection between the two of them. First way you can tell is I said promotion and it cut to the daughter. So, and then the second way is that she's surprised by the mother having to make some choices. So to me, it's like, oh yeah, that's what this is at. I can fill in the blanks from here. What? Holy shit! Oh my God, what? Oh my God, they have dolphins on their fucking ship. They have dolphins on their ship? Woo! Yay, Cerritos! I knew the burrito could do it.